ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Take Canto 4, Chapter 3, Verse 23. तत्त्वं विशुद्धं वसुदेव शब्दितं यदीयते तत्र पुमानपावृतः सत्त्वे च तस्मिन् भगवान् वासुदेवो यदक्षरो मे नमसा विधीयते. I'm always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudeva in pure Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is always pure consciousness, in which the Supreme Person of Godhead known as Vasudeva is revealed without any covering. So Shiva is telling does he do all the time? He's saying all others are engaged in material activities, identifying with the body, relatives, friends, family, etc. And he's only seeing the super soul in all jivas. Not only that, so he's always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudeva. So in pure Krishna consciousness, Supreme Personality Godhead is revealed without any covering. The living entity is constitutionally pure. Asango hya ayam hi ayam purushaha. In the Vedic literature, it is said that the soul is always pure and uncontaminated by material attachment. It is uncontaminated originally, constitutionally. The identification of the body with the soul is due to misunderstanding. As soon as one is fully Krishna conscious, it is to be understood that one is in his pure original constitutional position. This state of existence is called Shuddha Sattva, which means that it is transcendental to the material qualities. Since the Shuddha Sattva existence is under the direct action of the internal potency, in this state, the activities of material consciousness stop. Activities don't stop. Activities of material consciousness stop. For example, when iron is put into a fire, it becomes warm, and when red hot, although it is iron, it acts like fire. This is a very perfect example. Although it is iron, it acts like fire. Similarly, when copper is surcharged with electricity, its action as copper stops. It acts as electricity. Bhagavad Gita 14.26 also confirms that anyone who engages in unadulterated or pure devotional service to the Lord is at once elevated to the position of pure Brahman, just like these examples. And so even though the person has a material body, etc., he is elevated to the position of Brahman. Just like when copper is surcharged with electricity, just like when a human being is surcharged with unadulterated devotional service, his action as a mundane entity stops. He acts as Brahman. He acts in the position of pure Brahman. So we have to remember that actually we are constitutionally pure. we become contaminated. Our consciousness has become contaminated. Why is our consciousness become contaminated? What is the original reason? What is the original reason because of which our consciousness has become contaminated?
Because we want to enjoy Brahman.
Because we want to enjoy. Because we've come here for enjoyment. Because we didn't want to serve Krishna. So that propensity to enjoy, the desire to enjoy. The desire to enjoy is the cause for our contaminated consciousness. And the desire to enjoy has to be given up. Otherwise, for us, at least I can speak about myself, we can only think of enjoyment with the body as the medium. All our uh, thoughts of enjoyment will be based on the body, right? So it's based on the different senses. So either we are wanting to look at things that are going to give happiness to the eyes, material things, or to the tongue, to the genitals, to the belly, etc., etc., to the skin, to the ears. So, because we are contaminated, we are trying to derive this so-called happiness through the body or the mind. Mm. And that is the reason that original desire to enjoy independent of Krishna. Independent of Krishna means it has to be through the material means, through the material body. And so we are still trying. We are still trying because our consciousness is still contaminated. So the beautiful process of Krishna consciousness purifies this contaminated consciousness, pure Krishna consciousness. It converts it from being impure to pure. That state of existence is called Shuddha Sattva, which means that the devotee then becomes transcendental to material existence. So in that state, activities of material consciousness stop because the material consciousness, which is contaminated consciousness, gets purified. But the important thing to note is this. How does this happen? When iron is put into fire, it becomes warm, and when red hot, it acts like fire. Or the words are charged is used. Mm. Meaning it is uh, mm, completely engulfed, you can say. So when the iron is in fire, it's not like part of the iron is in fire, or for 5 minutes it's in fire, then for half an hour it's outside the fire. No, it is continuously in the middle of blazing fire. Then iron starts displaying the qualities of fire. Hmm. So anyone who engages in unadulterated, anyabhilasha jnana karma dhanavritam, or yeah, avyabhicharini bhakti, or ahituki apratihata bhakti, unadulterated, and it should be all the time, like this, constantly surcharged. When we become surcharged with unadulterated devotional service to the Lord, then first we come to the position of pure Brahman, which is Brahmabhuta, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Mam cha yo vyabhicharena avyabhicharini bhakti. So avyabhicharini means vyabhichari means like a prostitute. Avyabhicharini means fixed. Mm. Therefore, Shuddha Sattva, as described in this verse, is a transcendental portion which is technically called Vasudeva Sattva. Vasudeva is also the name of the person from whom Krishna appears. This verse explains that the pure state is called Vasudeva because in that state Vasudeva is revealed without any covering. Mm. To execute unadulterated devotional service, therefore, one must follow the rules and regulations of devotional service without desire to gain material profit by fruitive activities or mental speculation. See, important thing here. See, we should understand anything anybody wants to achieve, even in this material world, has certain rules and regulations, right? Guiding principles. For example, one wants to become rich. If one wants to become rich, first of all, he should know the means to become rich. Then he should put appropriate effort. For example, okay, somebody has a business, right? If suppose say he keeps the business open only from say morning 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock and then closes the business, right? Is he going to become rich? No. Second, he's kept it open the whole day, but then he is not following whatever uh, rules etc. are required for a normal business to follow. Then will his business flourish? No. So we should understand that unless we follow rules and regulations, basically means the path by which one can achieve this perfection, the path by which one can come to this surcharged state. If we are not following rules and regulations, then we will not come to surcharged state. We will be in some diluted state. It will not be avyabhicharini bhakti. Hmm. How will we know? How do we know if we are actually performing bhakti like this? Sagunan samati tetan. One transcends the modes and he comes to Brahma Bhuta. So if we are, if by practicing bhakti, we have not transcended the modes, that means that we are not following rules and regulations. It's very simple. Of course, it also requires some amount of consistent sadhana, but not forever. It doesn't have to be forever. Because bhakti is so powerful, because bhakti is not different from Krishna. Bhakti is so powerful that it even controls Krishna. Right? Sri Krishna Akarshini, it attracts Krishna, brings Krishna under the control of the devotee. So when bhakti is so powerful, there's no question of us not achieving results by practicing bhakti, provided we practice the bhakti the way it has to be practiced. Hmm. So one should not do bhakti for gaining material profit. All this is very, very neophyte stage. Very, very neophyte stage. If you are doing bhakti for gaining something out of it, very neophyte stage. It's okay. It's okay. It's not that it should not be, but some stage in our life we have to move away from that. We have to move past that. We have to move beyond this stage of doing bhakti for material profit and come to the stage of okay, first is doing bhakti for material profit, then doing bhakti for sense gratification. So some devotees don't do for material profit, but they do for sense gratification, for gratifying themselves, their own senses. This is okay. This is slightly better than doing it for some material profit. But still one has to advance further and come to stage of doing bhakti for gratifying senses of Krishna. But to be able to do that, actually we have to follow rules and regulations. I was just reading 7th canto and reading the beautiful qualities of Prahlad Maharaj. Mm. Narada Muni is telling Yudhishthir Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, he was always controlled. He controlled his senses and life here. I was thinking it is such a simple statement. He controlled his senses and life here. But it's so difficult. Why he controlled his senses and life here? Because he had no external consciousness at all. He was so drowned in bhakti. Right? So we cannot reach that stage unless we go through the process of Vaidhi Bhakti properly. If we don't practice Vaidhi Bhakti following rules and regulations, we will never get there. If we think that somehow we will get there. It's not going to happen. See, these are like entry gates. Pure devotional service is the entry gate for Krishna Prema, right? Now, to come to pure devotional service, we have to follow Vaidhi. Vaidhi means rules and regulations. Transgressing rules and regulations will not take us there. Mm. Unfortunately, somehow or the other, the importance of following rules and regulations is not understood by most devotees. Most devotees want to do bhakti their own way, whimsical. But it's not going to get us where we want to go. That is the problem. And I was talking to one devotee the other day. I said, like, we've all become acharyas. We've all become Prabhupada. Because each of us define our own ways of doing bhakti, our own ways of preaching, our own practices, everything. We take our own decisions. Like it almost looks like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Prabhupada had said. It doesn't matter what Prabhupada has set as practices for us. This is not going to help. I mean, if we are spoiling our own bhakti, then it's one thing. But if we are setting a wrong direction for other people, then it's worse. So we have to follow rules and regulations. We have to encourage others also to follow, help others also to follow. This is what needs to be done. In pure devotional service, one simply serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a matter of duty without reason and without being impeded by material conditions. Of course, this is the beginning stage where Vaidhi Bhakti is a matter of duty. But of course, even in this Vaidhi Bhakti, it is being said that it is unimpeded by material conditions. Whatever be the material conditions, good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. This is my duty, I go on. That is called Shuddha Sattva or Vasudeva, because in that stage, the Supreme Person is revealed in the heart of the devotee. Because Krishna reveals himself. Realization of Krishna is not something that can be achieved. It is by the mercy of Krishna that Krishna reveals himself in the heart of the devotee. Right? Puratyada. Swayameva Spuratyada. In Swayameva, he himself, Spurati. Spurati means reveal, manifest. Srila Jiva Goswami has very nicely described this Vasudeva or Shuddha Sattva in his Bhagavata Sandarbha. He explains that Ashtottara Shata is added to the name of the spiritual master to indicate one who is situated in Shuddha Sattva or in the transcendental state of Vasudeva. So Ashtottara Shata means that spiritual master is in the transcendental state of Vasudeva. The word Vasudeva is also used for other purposes. For example, Vasudeva also means one who is everywhere or all pervading. Sun is also called Vasudeva Shabditam. The word Vasudeva may be utilized for different purposes, but whatever purpose we adopt, Vasudeva means the all pervading or localized Supreme Person of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, it is also stated Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. Factual realization is to understand Vasudeva and surrender unto him. Vasudeva is the ground wherein Vasudeva is revealed. When one is free from the contamination of material nature and is situated in pure Krishna consciousness or in the Vasudeva state, Vasudeva is revealed. So clear. When one is free from contamination of material nature, meaning driven by the modes, sense gratification, and is situated in pure Krishna consciousness, purely wanting to just satisfy the senses of Krishna. That is the Vasudeva state. Then Vasudeva is revealed. This state is also called Kaivalya, which means pure consciousness. Gnanam Satvikam Kaivalyam. When one is situated in pure transcendental knowledge, one is situated in Kaivalya. Therefore, Vasudeva also means Kaivalya, a word which is generally used by impersonalists. Impersonal Kaivalya is not the last stage of realization. Impersonal Kaivalya is to become one with the Supreme. That is not the last stage. In Krishna consciousness Kaivalya, when one understands the Supreme Person of Godhead, then one is successful in that pure state by hearing, chanting, remembering, etc. Because of the development of knowledge of the science of Krishna, one can understand the Supreme Person of Godhead. All these activities are under the guidance of the internal energy of the Supreme Lord. So all activities of bhakti are under the guidance of the Supreme, guidance of the internal energy, which is Srimati Radharani. So we have to come to this pure state. Now we are doing hearing, chanting, remembering, etc. to come to the pure state. Then when we come to that pure state, and in that pure state we do hearing, chanting, remembering, then we achieve love of Krishna. So we should remember we have to come to this state. There is no shortcut. We have to come to Vasudeva. We have to come to this pure state, free from the contamination of this material nature. The action, the internal potency is also described in this verse as apavritaha, free from any covering. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his name, form, quality, paraphernalia, etc., being transcendental, are beyond material nature, it is not possible to understand any one of them with the materialistic senses. When the senses are purified by the discharge of pure devotional service, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. The pure senses can see Krishna without covering. But here, the important thing here is senses are purified when there is discharge of pure devotional service, when senses are engaged to do pure devotional service, not to discharge mixed devotional service. If you engage in mixed devotional service, then the senses won't get purified. They'll remain contaminated. But only with the pure senses can one see Krishna without covering. So yesterday we were discussing this question about why this Chaturmasya. So one thought came to my mind, saying by doing things like this, actually, devotees who are not very seriously engaged in Shravanam Kirtanam, because one who is seriously engaged in Shravanam Kirtanam, nothing else is required, right? So, but for those who are not seriously engaged in Shravanam Kirtanam, by doing such tapascharya, such austerities, some vrata, they get some, benefit so that they can make progress. They'll get some mercy by doing such things, and so that their Shravanam and Kirtanam can become more intense. Because there's no other benefit from this. There's no other benefit. There's no use going to Swarga. There's no use getting any other material benefit out of doing Chaturmasya. The only benefit has to be that we become more serious in bhakti. If suppose we are doing all this, but we are not becoming serious in bhakti, then it's just become some material activity. Because what is it? I mean, giving up some food item is a material activity. There's nothing spiritual unless the intent is spiritual. Unless the intent is to please Krishna by doing some austerity. For what reason? So that we can move closer to him, so that we can advance, so that our senses can become pure. If somebody is doing Shavanam Kirtanam sincerely every day, then senses will anyway become pure. Of course, in the association of pure devotees, in the association of hearing Shavanam from pure devotees. Now one may inquire that since factually the devotee has the same material existential body, how is it possible that the same materialistic eyes become purified by devotional service? An example as stated by Lord Chaitanya is that devotional service cleanses the mirror of the mind, Cheto Darpanamarjanam. In a clean mirror, one can see one's face very distinctly. Similarly, simply by cleansing the mirror of the mind, one can have a clear conception of the Supreme Person of Godhead. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. By executing one's prescribed duties in devotional service, etasa nanya gamina, or simply by hearing about God and chanting about Him. If one's mind is always engaged in chanting and hearing, it is not allowed to go elsewhere, one can realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, again, engaged in chanting and hearing is not allowed to go elsewhere. Our mind is always engaged in chanting and hearing, then yeah, one can realize Supreme Personality of God. He doesn't have to do anything else. But if one is not able to do all these things nicely, then he can take help of other things, which only reason of doing them is to actually come to this state of engaging in chanting, come to the state of engaging in chanting and hearing without mind going elsewhere. As confirmed by Lord Chaitanya by the Bhakti Yoga process beginning from hearing chanting, one can cleanse the heart and mind, and thus one can clearly see the face of the Supreme Person of Godhead. See, we should, if we are consistently following the process of bhakti as ordained by our acharyas, then even a simple devotee who's not like some very exalted, I mean, we know so many exalted Vaishnavas in ISKCON, we know that they will achieve perfection. But even for ordinary people like us, ordinary devotees like us, we can also achieve perfection provided we follow the process properly. So many said that, just to drive home the point, that even simple housewives can achieve perfection, it is said. There are examples, they said, like there are some Matajis who were quoted, saying very simple, just doing their responsibilities, doing bhakti seriously, sincerely, not engaging in sense gratification. They have achieved perfection. And imagine if suppose say we can engage and contribute to the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how much more mercy we'll get. But we can, if we are engaging in the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but also doing sense gratification, then yeah, mercy will come and we will eventually slowly get purified from our sense gratification, come to the pure state. Then we will achieve the result. Lord Shiva said that since his heart was always filled with the conception of Vasudeva, because of the Supreme Lord's presence within his mind and heart, he was always offering obeisances unto the Supreme Godhead. In other words, Lord Shiva is always in trance samadhi. The samadhi is not under the control of the devotee, it is under the control of Vasudeva. For the entire internal energy of the Supreme Person of Godhead acts under his order. Of course, the material energy also acts by his order, but his direct will is specifically executed through the spiritual energy. Thus, by his spiritual energy, he reveals himself. Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Sambhavami Atma Maya. Atma Maya means internal potency. By sweet will, he reveals himself by his internal potency. Sweet will. Why? Being satisfied by the transcendental loving service of the devotee. That's all. Devotee never commands, my dear Lord, please come here so that I can see you. It is not the position of the devotee to command the Supreme Lord, to come before him or to dance before him. There are many so-called devotees who command the Lord to come before them dancing. Lord, however, is not subject to anyone's command. But if he is satisfied by one's pure devotional activities, he reveals himself. Therefore, a meaningful word in this verse is adokshaja, for it indicates that the activities of our material senses will fail to realize the Supreme Lord. Material senses cannot realize Supreme Lord. When the senses have become purified, spiritualized, only then they can realize the Supreme Lord. One cannot realize the Supreme Lord simply by the attempt of one's speculative mind. But if one desires, he can subdue all the material activities of his senses. See? If one desires, one can subdue all the material activities of his senses. And the Lord, by manifesting his spiritual energy, can reveal himself to the pure devotee. But for which we have to subdue all our material activities. We're doing bhakti, but we are going on with our material activities, then it will take time, because it will take time for us to reach that stage where we can subdue all material activities. But for which one has to desire. When the Supreme Person of Godhead reveals himself to the devotee has no other duty than to offer him respectful obeisances. The Absolute Truth reveals himself to the devotee in his form. He is not formless. Vasudeva is not formless, for it is stated in this verse that as soon as the Lord reveals himself, the devotee offers his obeisances. Obeisances are offered to a person, not to anything impersonal. One should not accept the Mayavada interpretation that Vasudeva is impersonal. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Prapadyate, one surrenders to a person, not to impersonal non-duality. Whenever there is a question of surrendering or offering obeisances, there must be an object of surrender or obeisance. Very beautiful purport. Right, so the intensity, tivrata of bhakti is explained. Actually, Prabhupada does that in every purport, but some are more intense than others. Such a beautiful purport. Right? So there's no question of whimsical bhakti. There's no question of mixed bhakti. These things don't exist at all. Unfortunately, today in real practice, this is where most devotees are. Whimsical bhakti. Whimsical means do whatever you want. Like I said, we've all become acharyas. Now we'll say, yeah, we can do this. It's okay. Who's saying it's okay? Who are we to say it's okay? We say it's okay. So many practices today in ISKCON. It's okay. Who said, no, it doesn't look like it's wrong? Who decided? We are no authorities. But we are taking authority in our hands. This is our problem. We don't follow any standards. We're not going to get there. Clear. We're not going to get there. We are not going to get there by this idea. There's an idea. Some idea that no, by mercy we will get there. But how will one get mercy? By actually engaging in pure devotional service, one gets mercy. By following rules and regulations, one gets mercy. By following instructions, one gets mercy. So it's very, very important that we actually stick to these things. Otherwise we can go on doing bhakti. Yeah, it might look like, yeah, I'm having, devotees, I hear devotees, I'm having fun doing bhakti. What is this? They're not here to have fun. Did you all enjoy this festival? Who are we to enjoy the festival? So contaminated consciousness. All these thoughts are contaminated consciousness. Meaning putting ourselves ahead of the Lord. I attended one Rath Yatra somewhere where devotees were standing right in front of the Lord and taking a photo. I said, like, boss, like this Rath Yatra, Lord has come out to give darshan to others or to give your darshan to others. But devotees just don't think, because they don't think that the Lord is actually sitting there. He is present. They don't think that way. They think, Lord is there up somewhere. I'm here in front. I'm taking photo, selfie. Just no consciousness at all, unfortunately. No consciousness. No Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Can I add something on this,
Please.
Prabhu?
Yeah.
Actually, I was listening to one of the, I would say, lectures of Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. So in that, Maharaj was also saying that we launch, right, rockets, whatnot, for moon. And there is a lot of perfection what is required. I mean, just a degree fluctuation or a difference from here to there also will not, hit the target, or we will not reach the destination. I mean, just for our own material, this thing, just to reach from Earth to Moon, there is so much of precise, accurate calculations. And definitely, I think for whatever we are trying to achieve or look for Krishna, so definitely there is a lot more discipline and perfection is required in our services.
Yeah, nice. Thank you. Yeah, Rohini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
I have two questions. One regarding now what we are reading and what I heard in the morning in Prabhupada lecture regarding Shiva and Vasudeva. So Vasudeva Sarvamidhi, right? Like Krishna is the original, like Swayam Krishna, right? So, but
Mm.
Vasudeva Krishna, so how to differentiate and how to understand? So,
Yeah.
Krishna should have said, like, the Swayam Krishna, like Vasudeva Krishna is like again expansion of him.
Yeah. Vasudeva
The
Krishna
one
is
who
the
is,
expansion.
one who is with Radharani is the Swayam.
Yeah. So this is the secret of uh, Krishna consciousness as revealed by our acharyas. So basically, there are Krishna. So when we say Swayam Krishna, instead of saying Swayam Krishna, we can also say Sham Sundar Krishna. So Sham Sundar Krishna Vrindavanam Parityaja Padamekam Nagachati. So he doesn't go out of Vrindavan. So when Krishna manifests himself in this material world, Krishna's because Vasudeva and Devaki are not in the state of pure prema,
Yes.
right? Raja prema, right? So their bhakti or love is mixed with awe and reverence. They don't get Swayam Krishna. They don't get Sham Sundar Krishna as their son. They get Chaturpuja. Right?
Yes.
They get the Vasudeva. Vasudeva
Yes.
appears first from in front of them, and then Devaki, when she prays, then Vasudeva Vishnu, who is Chaturpuja, then takes the form of a human child. So he is called Vasudeva Krishna.
Right.
Right? And yeah, Vasudeva Krishna is present outside Vrindavan. So basically, Mathura, Dwarka, anywhere else, person who is going around as Krishna is actually Vasudeva Krishna.
Right.
Swayam Krishna, Sham Sundar Krishna is within, is in Vrindavan as a Spurti. It's called Spurti. Yeah, so that is the difference. Krishna, Balaram, from Balaram, Chaturbhuja,
Right.
Chaturvyuha, and
Chaturvyuha.
that
And then,
Chaturvyuha Vasudeva appears in Mathura and then takes the form of Krishna. And because then both these Krishnas come together and become one, they become Vasudeva Krishna enters Sham Sundar Krishna, and that is the Krishna who is in Gokul, who is in Vrindavan until 11 years are over when Krishna has to leave Vrindavan, at which time Vasudeva Krishna separates from him and goes into
right.
Mathura and Dwarka, and Shamsundar Krishna remains
In
unseen.
Vrindavan.
Yeah.
But I have following question on this, Prabhu. So if that is like, separated from real Krishna, so
No, not separated from real Krishna. They're all Krishna only. They're just
Krishna
different.
only.
See, what is Vishnu is not different from Krishna. Vasudeva is
Right.
not different from Krishna. All of them
Right.
are Krishna. Just
Right.
that what qualities they manifest is different.
But I have a question. I mean, few questions. I'm not still able to understand those
Yeah.
pastimes.
Yeah.
So when Krishna talks to Rukmini,
Yeah.
and also like, in Bhagavatam, we hear like, even though Rukmini Mata serves him so nicely, he still thinks of Radharani. So how to understand, like, there's no
See, the
difference. Like, and he wanted to go to, see
Yeah.
them also.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So
Jagannath,
this
I didn't get the full understanding of the feelings of like, Krishna and like, how to connect
that
with real Krishna and then.
that'll take some time for us to understand these things. But whatever little I understood is,
Mm.
see, the wherever Krishna is,
Mhm.
Krishna is attracted by the love of Rajavasis. The love of Rajavasis is unparalleled. I mean, even though
Right.
Rukmini is serving Krishna so well, but she
Mm.
cannot come to the position of gopis or Radharani,
Right. Right.
right? Because it is actually in Bhagavatam only it says actually they don't, it is not the pure love that Krishna wants.
Right.
The pure, in the state of pure love, the devotee forgets that Krishna is the Supreme Lord.
Oh,
But in
right.
Dwaraka,
Right.
there is complete
They
cognizance
remember.
of Lord, of Krishna being the Supreme Lord. In fact, Uddhava says that Dwarkavasis have not gone beyond actually understanding Krishna as Paramatma.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very
Okay.
deep, I mean, while they're exalted devotees, they're not anywhere comparable to Vrajavasis who
Gopika.
don't even know or want to know or who don't are not giving it so much importance. It's not like they don't know. They know that Krishna is Supreme Lord, but that's not important for them.
Right.
Right? So this pure, so Krishna is showing through this pastime saying that that pure love is what attracts Krishna. Pure love,
Mm-hmm.
devoid of any sense of Godhead,
Right.
Godhood, whatever you want to call it, right? Like they just are They just love him just because they love him. That's it. Right? I mean,
Right.
and that purity is, see, even for example, in Dwaraka, all the queens are saying, "We are your maid servants. You're the Supreme Lord. We are your maid servants." So it is like that. There is Swakiya, but uh, predominantly it is Dasya only. Wanting to
Yes.
serve Supreme Lord, right? So it while it is exalted because those devotees otherwise wouldn't have got Swakiya position, right? They are with Krishna all the time. So it's very
Yes.
exalted, but it cannot be compared. It just cannot be compared to the
Right.
love of gopis and Radha. And in fact, Jiva Goswami actually he reveals this in Gopal Champu. He says like actually Krishna is lamenting, not just simply taking their names in. We don't talk about all these things in public classes,
Right.
etc. Right? But literally Krishna is in tears. He's lamenting. He cannot
Mm-hmm.
stay. He's crying to Balaram, saying that how can I stay here? I cannot stay here. I want to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Balaram is trying to pacify him, saying that, oh no, Krishna, we have duty here to do. So Krishna is holding himself back in Dwarka just because he has duty to do.
Okay. So though he's Vasudeva Krishna here, he's in the mood of Swayam Krishna.
Yeah, because see that mood, see the whole mood is that being away from those devotees is not possible for Krishna. Krishna is present.
Right.
Okay, Krishna has work to do. He's in Vasudeva. He's all pervading. Whatever he has, all that. But deep is the same thing. It's that feeling saying that no, no, I want to
Right.
go back. Why he wants to go back? Because see, right now we should understand why Vasudeva Krishna is demonstrating these qualities, though it's not natural for him because he's outside Vrindavan. Because inside Vrindavan, devotees are suffering.
Right.
And Krishna, in whatever form he is in, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's not bound by any rules and regulations. He just wants to see his, Vrajavasi devotees happy,
Right.
right? He wants to actually manifest in front of them. Like, and when can that happen? Only when Vasudeva Krishna comes back and visibly everybody knows that, okay, Krishna has come back to Vrindavan.
So Swayam Krishna is not visible to them, though he is stayed back in
No. So that is
India.
that's why I said like it's very difficult. It's Purati. It's called Spurti. Spurti means actually Krishna is present, but because of the fact that an event happened that Krishna actually went out of Vrindavan, Vrajavasis actually have taken it very seriously and they really think that Krishna has gone out. So even though Krishna is there, they cannot see him.
Yes, yes.
Or they don't feel that Krishna is present, though actually Krishna is present. So Acharyas call this presence as Spurti, from
Okay.
inspiration. It's like feeling that Krishna is there, but actually Krishna is there, but they are not seeing.
Yes.
So now
No.
Krishna wants his devotees to see him. How will he
Mm.
see him? Only when there is a reverse event.
Right.
So it's all very. That's why I say Krishna, the understanding Krishna and Krishna's pastimes
It's very difficult.
is very, very takes a lot of time, and we have to be like searching.
Right, right,
It takes a lot of time. I mean, I don't even know whatever I'm saying to what extent this has been my understanding so far with all the study that I've done in by Mercy of Lord
Mm.
Krishna. This is what I understand. But yeah, like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, "Hmm, anything you say about Krishna can be true if it is coming from pure source." Right? Like so, if many times one acharya says one thing, another acharya says something else and we can't reconcile. Actually, we can't reconcile because we don't understand. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, no, both of them are correct. There's no need to reconcile at all. So many times we are stuck. We don't know what to understand or how to understand. So
Right.
it's really, I mean, it's unlimited. This nectar is
Yes.
unlimited. Like
So
this,
in
you can go
yeah,
on.
right. So in the same context, like here, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani, so he's seeing Jagannath as real Krishna and missing him, right?
Yeah,
And
because
he
see,
was
actually,
glad.
when Jagannath, see, what is Jagannath's form? Jagannath is actually
Krishna
Krishna in
was
Mahabharata.
yes, yes.
Jagannath is Krishna in Mahabharata. Just because his eyes have become, big and his eyes, arms, and I mean, it's like this. For example, see, if I've known you, right, and now suddenly you change your form, right, like you dress yourself like somebody else.
Right.
Now, it's not that I'm going to be looking at that dressed person. Like, I mean, I know that it's you. I'm just giving you an example, right? Like, for example, if our child is like doing some fancy dress, right,
Right.
and he's dressed as Asura, it doesn't mean that we are looking at the child and looking at him as an Asura, right?
Right.
We still look at that our son or daughter with the same love that we had before he took on that form of an Asura.
Right.
It's just like this because it is Krishna. Actually, pure devotees who see Krishna can't see anybody apart from Krishna and Jagannath because Jagannath is Krishna.
Right.
But because we are not in that state, we end up seeing the big round eyes of Jagannath
Right.
and his form of Jagannath. But pure devotees can't see anything apart from Krishna there because it is Krishna.
Right. Got it, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hey, yeah. Anything directly connected to what we discussed today? Because this was an important word. See, the reaching there is, yeah, I think Prabhu made that point. I think it's very, very apt, appropriate. Getting there is not easy. So we have to push ourselves. See, there is no other way. Actually, there's no easy way out. I keep thinking, actually, I've been, my consciousness has been a bit down over the last few days for some reason. And I was thinking, saying that, how much ever if I drop the gun, if I just a little bit, I, I let myself lose, um, I can get just dragged and I can go, miles away from the pure stage of devotional service or, the same, uh, how shall I put it, right? What my consciousness was maybe 1 month back to what it has been for the last 1 month. And to what now I'm trying to get back to is very different. As in, now I have to put a lot more effort to go back to where I was. So letting ourselves loose for any reason, I had some very important reason for me to little bit drop the guard, as they say. But that was for a reason which was very importantly tied to my responsibility as a grasta. But now that requirement is somewhat over, and now I'm trying to get back, and it is taking me a lot of effort. It's taking me a lot of effort. My consciousness has got affected. It's not easy. So if we are not on top of things, if we are not on top of bhakti, really practicing it at the level that we want to, that we need to, it's really difficult. It's difficult. We can't remain casual for even a moment. So when I read this purport, I thought like it's exactly it's addressing me. Okay. Anyway, I think we've dragged session for long, but yeah, just very, very important. So request everybody to please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I have one more question regarding
Wow.
Shiva. I think I'll ask him.
Yeah, maybe in next session.
Sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. Jai. So we'll close here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Panchakalpatarubhyashta kripa sindhu bhyo patidana bhavane Vaishnava. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavad
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.